Good morning, everyone. Jackie Broman here for Join Jackie on Mondays. God, last week was a bit of a disaster trying to do this from Sunbury. The data connection in Sunbury, being part of Melbourne, it was just hopeless. But what can you do? So, this week, talking about wills. Now, how old should someone be when they're making a will? The lawyer in me says that as soon as someone's an adult, they should make a will. So as soon as they're 18 would be ideal. However, the practicality is that that's not going to happen for everyone. People that age don't think that they've got anything of any value. Sometimes parents insist that their kids do a will at 18, which is great, particularly if the parents have set up some kind of family trust and they know that their child's going to benefit under that, and so the will then becomes quite important. However, as I said, the practicalities is that people are often quite older than 18 when they make their will. So it's really about, well, what ages then, or what points in someone's life should they be thinking about their estate planning? And it's a little bit like the topic I did a couple of weeks ago about the sandwich generation. So thinking about a stage in life rather than an actual age. So as soon as someone is 18, they're able or legally able to do a will because they're an adult. While they don't think that they've got any major assets, if they've been working already, they've probably got an industry fund for superannuation. Superannuation, when you sign up to an industry fund, often has a death benefit on it of 200 or 250,000. So there is that life insurance amount that will come to a child if they die young, 18, 19, 20, even if they don't have much else in the bank and all they have is their car and some debt otherwise. So superannuation is something important to think about, particularly because someone of that age doesn't often have a eligible beneficiary for their super. So the only eligible beneficiaries for superannuation are spouse, children, or someone who's financially dependent on you. And people of that age don't have someone who's financially dependent on them, and usually don't have someone that you would consider a spouse. So that's why it's important to do a will. The young adult could then say who the superannuation was to go to, rather than what the law would probably do is split it between their parents. And that may not be what they want. They may want it to go to a brother or sister. Their parents may have separated. They may be estranged from a parent. They may want it to go to someone else. Need to do a will for that. So that's why it's important for someone of that age. Then the next stage in life is probably once you're married. So when you marry, it invalidates any will you've done beforehand. So marriage is another point in time to do a will. Having children is another good point in time to do a will. Mainly at this point, you're thinking about guardianship for your children. So again, your assets might not be very big at this point. You may have a home with some equity in it. It may have very little equity, but again, you've got superannuation with death benefits, and you've got your children to think about. So guardianship is the most important thing to think about at that point. And again, making sure your biggest asset, which is your super, going to where you want it to go to, being held in trust for your kids until they're old enough. If you don't specify in the will, your kids will inherit that at 18, which I believe is too young. So again, doing a will to cover that is very important. Then the next stage in life might be either growing a business, growing your wealth. So you may have set up a trust, you may be running a business. So you're thinking about asset protection, and then you're thinking about making sure that whilst asset protection is the most important objective for you at that point in your life, your estate planning and succession is still important about where things go. So that might be the next point, as would be a separation. You'd want to do a will as soon as you were separated. Don't wait to be divorced. A remarriage, again, marriage is a good point in time to redo a will. Then, of course, approaching retirement, consolidating your assets. Asset protection is probably no longer your most important factor at that point, or tax minimization. You're starting to look to retirement. There might be things that we need to do to get assets out of your name at that point. There might be succession into the next generation. So that would be another point in time when it would be worthwhile approaching your estate planning. And then, of course, once someone has been in retirement for some time and they're starting to have health problems, it might be time to review. Primarily, the will may not have to change, but powers of attorney are certainly crucial to make sure that they're right and up to date, because we did have law changes in 2015. So there you are. When should someone do a will, or what age? Well, really, as I said, they can do one from 18. However, practically, let's think about the stages of life and when it's important. So hopefully that's helpful. If you think this would be helpful for someone else to hear, by all means, please tag their name in the comments, or you can share it with them privately via Messenger. This video, it's live at the moment, but you might be watching the replay. There's also hundreds of other video replays on our Facebook page on the video tab. So go there and check those out. It's a good place to start if you're having a problem, because there's short snippets of legal information about most topics. Otherwise, of course, if there's a topic you want to cover or you want to ask us a question, you can direct message us via Facebook, or our Meet the Team page is on our website. The link is on Facebook here, so you can head across there. All our email addresses are available for you if you want to email direct. Hope you have a great week. I will see you next week.